Good afternoon, family. Thank you for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me on my live streams that I do most weekdays, or outside of my live streams, you can consider joining my Discord. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, if you're interested in getting some ideas of the meals that we enjoy, we have a link to a Pinterest board that we created that has our family's favorite whole food plant-based meals. Today is day 608 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 210 pounds so far. Today, I think, is the end of the 20th month. I think I'm 20 months through, and so I have 16 months left to go. I am looking forward to making my way to my goal weight and maintaining that weight for the rest of my life. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I'd love to hear those as well. If you're looking to get started on a diet, what are you doing to get started on your diet? If you, like I said, and also if you're getting started, what choices are you going to make today what choices are you going to make to help keeping on your diet easier than the alternative? We're going to go ahead and switch over. Stumbled there a little bit. Anthony's checking in saying hello. Happy 4th, John. Yes, I hope you have a good weekend this weekend too, Anthony. And I hope everybody had a great day since yesterday. Wasn't as pretty outside today as it was yesterday, but weather overall was really good. Something that I noticed after the stream yesterday was that my audio was really awful in yesterday's broadcast. I thought it was kind of hitting the red line more than normal. Then after the fact, I replayed the video and realized that the audio was really bad, which makes me wonder if because the video on my video on Wednesday was fine. I had no problems with the audio Wednesday. And then I got on yesterday and it was awful. And the only thing I did different was I did the Zoom meeting with Chef AJ's group on Wednesday evening, and I had to use the Zoom setup to do the audio and video. Excuse me. And I did have some issues with the video when I first got into my streaming software that I had to adjust some things. And I am hoping that the audio wasn't that way when talking to her group, because nobody in the group said anything to me about the audio being bad, but nobody said anything yesterday on my live stream about the audio being bad. Anthony says it's okay, it happens. Yeah, and Carrie saying hello, everybody. Hello, Carrie. I hope you're having a great day today. So I hope that the audio's better. And also in working on my stuff, I found that one of my camera settings was not what it should have been. And so I adjusted a camera setting as well. And on my end, the camera appears to be working far better than it had been for the last couple weeks. So hopefully the audio sync comes in a little better, and just overall the stream quality has improved a little bit. Also, one of the changes that I made on my setup here was that I turned the chat feature to subscribers only. I think that most of the people that come in and check out my live stream are probably subscribers, but I was hoping to do that to get rid of the spam bots that I kind of have come in and interrupt my live stream. So hopefully that will help reduce the amount of that happens. But I have no idea if it will actually do that or not. So, so yesterday after the stream, had to go home, and Carrie had a few things to do with our daughters and some other running around that she had been doing during the day, and was unable to really get all of the dinner prep work done. So I got to be Chef Boyer dad last night and make up some food for the kids. Thankfully, Carrie had everything kind of lined up, and I just had to throw some things in the blender here. But I ended up, the food that I made here, the first couple photos, was not food that me and Carrie ate. It's just food that I cooked. I wanted to prove to the world that I know how to operate a blender and a stove, and Carrie's not the only one that can provide food for our family. So let me pull this up. Hopefully everything is working out okay. But this is the pasta, the marinara sauce that I made for the pizza. It was a real simple recipe. It was 3/4 cup of water. There was some oregano and garlic and rosemary, maybe. I think there was 3 different spices in there, and then 2 dates that got blended into that. So that was the pizza sauce that I made for the pizza. And then the next photo is just a photo of the pizza. Carrie says, "Ha, you only called me once or twice for assistance locating the ingredients." Yes, there was some difficulty finding a few of the spices in the cabinet, or I wasn't sure if I should use ground cumin or well, it wasn't the cumin. Let me see if I can figure out what the ingredient was that we had. Different versions of the same thing. Let me pull this up. It was the oregano. I wasn't sure if I should use oregano leaves or ground oregano or what to use. But anyways, had to call her just to get a little bit of advice, I suppose, on those items. And then, so this was one of the 2 pizzas I made for the kids. And on the other pizza, I made 1 slice of it and I put mushrooms on it just to see if any of my kids would be adventurous enough to try it with the mushrooms. And one of our daughters did try it. She liked it. She said it was just as good as the rest of the pizza. So, but I thought it would be interesting to see if they would try it, and she did. Let's see. Next photo is, I thought I'd just show a photo of this just so you guys get an idea. When we make our baked potatoes, we do a lot of baked potatoes in an Instapot at a time. And so we just put it in there, bake them all at one time. And then I put together, of course, I grabbed the biggest potato. That potato nearly filled up the the bowl that I was putting it in. And my photos are a little bit out of order here, but so Anthony's asking, pizza cool. Was it a gluten-free crust? I don't know. The pizza was for our kids, and the crust is like a cornmeal, I think. Carrie would have better details on the crust and whether or not it's gluten-free, but it's like a cornmeal or cornbread crust. I can't remember the exact details. Maybe she'll chime in. But we did have some corn. So I heated up a couple ears of corn last night and then put together a bowl of potato and broccoli. And it's that mustard mix that I had been messing with the night before. I kind of did that same thing where I mixed that sweet garlic mustard that we make for our salad dressings, and then I put some of the Primo's habanero spread into that as well to spice it up. Carrie says she's not sure if the crust is gluten-free. It is a pre-made cornmeal crust that we get from Fresh Time is the name of the grocery store we get that from. So this was a potato I put together. I don't know if I took a good photo of it with, so I kind of had mixed it in, and Carrie had been shopping during the day, and one of the places that she went shopping yesterday is a olive oil place in town here. And she was hoping to find a good olive oil to use because we had liked the olive oil that we got from the California balsamic vinaigrette company, or I guess this is a vinaigrette, maybe is what it is. But she thought that they would have some flavors at this store that we might like, and so she did pick out one of the flavors. I, of course, cannot remember the name of that flavor. Again, she might chime in and let me know. But I ended up mixing that in with everything that I had just shown you to make a really great bowl of food. I really enjoyed it. And one of my kids actually came over and stole a bunch of it from me because she was still hungry after the pizza, and I figured, potatoes and broccoli can't hurt. So she ate it and she enjoyed it and actually had a decent bit of that bowl of food there. I did also have some shredded wheat that I did not take a photo of. And I'm trying to think if I had anything else, but I cannot remember having anything else. And I might have had 2 potatoes instead of one. I might have had 2 potatoes because I don't feel like the photos I've shown you is enough food for what I actually ate last night. But I'm pretty sure I also had some shredded wheat as well. And then this morning for breakfast, I had a bowl of oatmeal, like always. Good oatmeal, great kind of a regular, something where I feel like I should be sick of it by now. But I think since the rest of our diet has such a variety, that having that kind of staple, thing in the morning, or that regular oatmeal in the morning, it doesn't have that same effect. So, or it doesn't, I don't get bored from it. I really do enjoy it a lot. And then I did have some fruit last night too. I had some oranges and an apple and a little bit of that. So overall, food was good. I really feel like I am backed up as far as digesting of food. It's getting better, but I just don't feel like I have quite recovered from this past weekend. Also, some of the swelling in my leg is still there. I would have thought that it would have kind of reduced by now, but it seems to be hanging around for a little bit longer than I would like. So hopefully this weekend I'm able to have a good clean weekend and not have any issues. It is a long weekend here since we have Independence Day on Monday, and generally that means that I'm at home more and I'm eating more. So I'm going to try to kind of pay attention to how I do with food. But on the same token, we've changed some of the food that's at the house. So normally I'd be worried about overeating the Ezekiel bread and the nut butter, or having a bunch of the sourdough. And since I've not been eating that, I won't have to worry about that as much. We don't have the juices in the house, which I know I was getting a lot of calories from juice when I was home on the weekends, because that was kind of my drink of choice. Carrie says lots of yard work. Yes, lots of yard work to do. I feel like I haven't had a lot of time at home to do yard work, and this weekend I should have that opportunity, or at least Sunday and Monday I'll have that opportunity to do that yard work, and as long as the weather holds out. We're going to be going out and watching fireworks on Sunday, but it's going to be mostly just our family, or just our immediate family together. In the past, we have always, not always, but in the past 4 years, we have hosted 4th of July celebrations at our house. We had lots of fireworks, and we would do all kinds of stuff and have people over and get the grill out, and it would be a real party weekend for us. And this year we are not going to be doing that. And so it's going to be a little bit different. It's, which will probably be a good thing, because having company over leads to there being more snack food and junk food in the house. And I think our house has become less fun of a place to go for my family for events like that, because we don't have any animal products in our house. So if you want to eat something with cheese on it, you got to bring it in yourself. And just our snacks are a little bit different now than they were 2 years ago. Overall, I'm real happy with how I'm feeling. I have been just feeling better in my clothes, and just overall, I feel like eating this way, with the increase in the starches and then also the increase in the vegetables, has been beneficial. I really, I feel satisfied. I'm not craving anything. I don't feel like I need to go binge on anything, which is nice. And when I get home, I'll have dinner, and it should be, I have this weird, because I have this weird kind of mental hurdle that I do pretty good with, but it's still there, in just being worried about the volume of food that I'm eating, and that by eating this volume of food is going to cause a weight gain. And it really doesn't do that. Like, the food overall that I'm eating does not have a lot of fat in it. And I think that is a big plus of this diet, is removing that excess fat. Because if your body has enough calories from the carbohydrates that you're putting into it, then it's going to take any of the excess calories you have from fat and just store them. Or at least that's how it does it on my body. It seems like any bit of fat that I give my body, it will store that really easily, because for the most part, I'm not ever in a position where I'm starving myself of carbohydrates. And so it's been interesting with this, eating, large amount of potatoes, eating large amounts of broccoli, things like that. And it's been kind of the way the diet's been, but at the same time, I was eating a lot of bread and flour here recently that I've been needing to get rid of. Christy M says, hey, tuning in late. No problem, Christy. I hope you're having a great day. Just talking about getting ready for the weekend and talking about volume eating, the big things I talk about here, right? And this weekend, I know that there's going to be people that are going out to celebrations and get-togethers like we usually do. And staying on your diet can be difficult when you have these events coming up. But it's important to remember that, to plan appropriately. If you're going to be going somewhere that they are going to be providing all of the food, then you will want to try to make sure that you eat something before you go, or eat a large volume of stuff before you go. If you're able to bring your own food, bring your own food. If you're able to find out if they're going to have things that are on your diet, if you can find out ahead of time what they're going to be serving. And sometimes they might be able to tweak things for your diet without much effort. If they were going to be having or making baked potatoes, you can just say, hey, can you set some to the side, or make sure that there's no salt on any of the baked potatoes that I want, or that I would, just see if they'll accommodate you. Because many times people will do more to accommodate you than you expect. You think you're being a burden, and for them, it doesn't take that much effort for them to make a little bit of a change. But just don't get yourself in a position where you're at an event and you're getting hungry and the only options you have are bad options. If you got to bring a purse potato with you, throw some potatoes in your bag or have them in your vehicle, have some sort of snacks, I know I've had snacks like Lara bars that are compliant, the cashew cookie where it's just cashews and dates. You don't want to be eating a ton of those, but if you have them available, that is some amount of calories that you can have where you don't have to worry about the food that's at the event. If you're going to be traveling, we traveled this past weekend, and just make sure you have food to eat while you travel. Make sure you have plenty of fluid to drink, and that you have options that are better than going into the gas station. If you can avoid going into the gas station, avoid it. Fill up at the pump and just stay in your car. If you have to go in for the bathroom, I get that. But we found rest stops on the interstate is great to stop at those places, because there's far fewer things for our kids to be running up and grabbing and saying, hey, can we get this? Can we get this? Can we get that? And at the rest stops, they don't really have, the food like they would at a convenience store. But yeah, when traveling, have some potatoes, have some snacks, or something that is easy to eat that stays compliant, because when we start to get hungry, we really start to make poor choices. That's when our mind starts to convince us to make choices that are less than optimal. You start convincing yourself, well, you've been compliant or you've been on diet for weeks or months at this point. If you had to stop and just get some chips, then, but you got to get something to eat, like you start convincing yourself you need to eat. You're too tired to drive. And it's difficult to have those arguments with yourself in your head. And if you have potato to grab or have some sort of snacks. I know you can make you can make chips. We've made chips in the past. And just try to have things that aren't too bad, you know. And if you do have to make some concessions while traveling, then make sure that they're healthy. Something like the Lara bar. Maybe Lara bars are something that you wouldn't eat most days of the week, but having that as a snack in your vehicle will help you versus stopping at Burger King and grabbing some food. Carrie says that she made chips today. Yeah, that's great. Probably she was making some pico de gallo today, I think was her big project. We are not big tomato fans, me and Carrie. Just kind of similar to how I wasn't a fan of cucumbers or rice or a lot of the other vegetables that we've been eating. Tomatoes or uncooked tomatoes has been on that list of things that we choose not to, or choose to leave off of our sandwiches, I suppose, for the most part. So, she had seen a recipe for pico de gallo, and yesterday when I came home, there was a plate with like a dozen tomatoes on it. And so I was like, well, it looks like Carrie's gonna start working on that. She said she also made some refried beans. So we'll have some of that to snack on. But yeah, when you're traveling this weekend, just think ahead, plan ahead, keep lots of snacks in your car. Like I said, even if you have to have snacks that you wouldn't normally have in your house, like cashews. Like that's something that we had on our trip down was cashews and the dehydrated mango. And for us, those were great snacks to have, just so that we weren't tempted to pick up other snacks or really eat the leftover snacks that our kids had from their food that they got. And when you're going to these events too, it can be difficult because if you're just starting a diet, if you're a couple days in or a couple weeks in and you go to these events, then I think it's actually easier when you're first started, like a couple days, couple weeks in. It is easy to kind of be like, well, I'm into something, I'm doing something, it's working, or I'm happy with how it's going. And if you get into conversations with people about your diet, one of the suggestions they talk about in the Pleasure Trap book is to try to give confidence in your diet, but not pushing your diet onto other people. They talk about the seems to strategy, where when you are discussing how you're eating, that you say that it seems to be working for me, or this seems to be what is the best option for me, or I seem to be losing weight by doing this, so I'm going to keep doing it, and not throwing your diet in their face or trying to be like, oh, I'm only eating the healthiest stuff because that's the best way to eat. Because people sometimes don't react well to that. And then you get into conversations that you might not have the best defense against, because especially for me with this diet, is that it has been very new and would not have been the diet that I would be trying to push on to other people previously. So I know a lot about the diet now because I've spent the last 20 months reading books and watching videos and doing some research on it. So I feel like I could have a pretty in-depth conversation with somebody. But when I was a week or 2 weeks in, I wasn't sure about anything. And so those kind of strategies, I think, really help out a lot. And But when you're in that like 4 to 6 month range, I feel like that's the tough part, where you start to have those conversations with yourself about having cheat meals or trying things or going back to eating some of the junk that you already ate. And maybe you've seen some success or you've lost some weight. And so some of those underlying health issues that you had that got you motivated to get started aren't as prevalent in your life. So if you had like the swelling I've had around my legs or the sores I had, if it's easy that once those clear up and they aren't nagging you, for you to start to convince yourself that you can go back to some of those old ways. Um, and so it's really, like I said, once you get a few months in and you start seeing success, where I think that sometimes that's the toughest, because you find an excuse, you talk yourself into it. And then the worst is that if you do convince yourself to allow yourself to have something off diet when you do, a certain event, or like with traveling, it would be very easily to, have something that is super junk food when you're traveling and allow that when you travel, but then every time you travel, that becomes an argument you have to have. And so if you allow yourself to go off your diet when you go to a family event, then every time you go to a family event, you have to have that same argument about whether or not you're going to be compliant or you're going to allow yourself to give in to the temptations. And then if you give in that first time, then the second time it's even harder. If you are able to abstain the first time, then the next time you're faced with that exact same scenario, you can go back into your memory and say, well, I survived last time without giving into these temptations. So logically, I should be able to survive this time without giving into any of those temptations. So those are just some things to think about when traveling and being around people and celebrating this weekend, if that's what you're going to be doing. And just in traveling in general, some things that are good to think about. So I am going to get out of here today. I have a few things to wrap up at work before I head home. But I really appreciate everybody who has been following along with the weight loss challenge so far. I appreciate all your support, everybody coming in to the live streams. I will be back on Tuesday of next week, so I will not be on Monday. I may do some posts on the Discord, so if you want to see some things, maybe join the Discord. I should post some things on the Instagram too, but I'm not great at that either. So, but if you don't hear from me, I will be back live streaming again on Tuesday. So get subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. Also hit the thumbs up on this video. If you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up. There's no parties this weekend that are more important than your health and overall well-being. And nobody ever gets to their goals and looks back and wishes that they would have waited. Everybody looks back and wishes that they would have gotten started sooner, or they wish they would have known what they knew now then. And I'm the same way. I wish I would have started this weeks sooner, months sooner, and I would be much further along on my progress. Also, don't fall for the two myths of moderation: the myth of moderate change, the idea that you can slowly change from eating this highly processed junk food diet to eating a diet that's filled with healthy vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds and legumes, is a myth. Because all of these foods that are out there are engineered to convince you to continue to eat them. And as long as you have them as part of your diet, it's nearly impossible to remove them. So you need to make a big change, because if you want to see big changes in your health, you're going to have to make big changes with your diet. Also, don't fall for the myth of moderate consumption. The idea that eating a little bit of something unhealthy is still okay. That as long as I only have it in moderation, that it'll be acceptable, is a myth. If that was true, there would be a lot of people that are fat right now that would be skinny, because I've tried moderation diets my whole life, and all they did was lead me to getting to be 520 pounds. So don't fall for the myth of moderate consumption. You guys have a great weekend. I will talk to you on Tuesday.